Greetings to everybody out there from Salt Lake City, Utah. I feel like singing a song. I'll have a blue Friday without you. I'll have a blue Friday without you. You went to Denver, left my home, and now I'm really pissed off all alone. I'll have a blue Friday without you. What's up, y'all? It is cold here. There's snow on the ground, snow everywhere. It's like sub-freezing temperatures. What's up, Alina? Your very presence warms my heart. Nick LeBeau, what's going on? Hope you guys are enjoying your first Blue Friday without Russell Wilson. I guess there's going to be a lot of firsts in the new era moving forward from here on out. Here for the weekend with my wife and older daughter Sophie for a volleyball tournament at the Salt Lake Convention Center for the next 3 days. So gonna be spending the weekend here in this cold but very nice town. It's very pretty actually. A lot of beautiful views. You feel like you're up in the mountains, surrounded by snow-covered hills everywhere. Yep, Blue Friday, the new era is right. So, as expected, it hasn't officially been announced. I think they can't actually formally announce things in terms of the trade from Seattle to Denver, I think, till the 16th. This isn't until Thursday, but obviously it's good as done. Russell was already on a plane, hopped to Denver for the physical, so that part's clear. I think it's just a matter of the start of the actual regular season, which I'm expecting they will have a press conference, the Welcome to Denver press conference. I'm debating. You guys gonna watch that? I said I wouldn't watch any more press conferences. Then there's that sick masochistic part of me that's thinking about watching that. I mean, I already know what he's gonna say. Pretty easy to follow the Russell Wilson script, but I don't know. Don't want to do that to myself. Torture myself with listening to all the. I'm sure he'll start out with some thank yous to the city of Seattle and all the fans and everybody, but then he'll be excited to join the new city and the new fans, and he's always had great respect for this organization and the coaching staff, and excited for this new chapter. I might have to do my own version of the press conference before the actual press conference comes on, and we'll see how close I get to actually doing the press conference of what he actually puts on when I get back. That would be actually kind of therapeutic and funny at the same time. I have been seeing posts though, photos of. I posted one on Instagram. That I found there of. It's actually kind of funny. I assume it's the owner. I don't know who the picture is with. Older guy on the right, with Sierra in the middle, which I thought was interesting, and then Russ on the left with the Denver Broncos collars. They've got Russell Wilson orange-colored gear on. It's amazing that they made that so quick. How convenient. Considering that this just happened, it's almost like they planned it out. No. And then there's I think there's a lot of photoshopped images out there of Russell Wilson at quarterback wearing the number 3, all that kind of stuff. But hard to look at. It's very painful, like I thought it would be. I mean, it's going to be that way for a while, and it's going to happen in steps. It's not like you just get hit by the news and then it's full recovery mode. It's going to be like, okay, I think I'm off the initial shock. And then you see a photo like that, and then it raises you back up again, and then you kind of will cool down, and then it's press conference. It's going to be all over the place. Even if you don't want to watch it, you're going to be seeing little snippets and things on the news and on social media. You almost won't be able to escape it. And then you have to see him in a Denver uniform with the Denver Broncos logos behind. I won't be Denver uniform. He'll just be wearing street clothes, but he'll be, talking all happy Denver stuff, and how he's happy to be here and looking forward to the new legacy he's going to create here. Excited. I wonder how he'll call the fans. You know what I love? And not love, more like irony, cynical love. But, anytime you have a player and they talk about their fans, they'll always say that the fans they're playing for are the best fans in the world. So when they go to the other city, do they now call those fans the best fans in the world? Or do they become the second best fans in the world? Because if you say, let's say Russell's believed, hey, we're playing for the best fans. I'm sure he said that before at some point. He said, yeah, Seattle, these are the 12s are the best fans in the world. I'm sure he said that at some point. He's going to go to Denver. At some point, he's got to say, playing for the best fans in the world. Or he won't say it. But he might. Maybe the logical thing to say, right? But then, what does it really mean? The best fans in the world are the ones I'm playing for. I could go to Jacksonville in 5 years, and they'll be the best fans in the world. I think what I've learned through all this is that you can always become more cynical. I never thought of myself as a cynical guy. But the last week and a half, and then what culminated to a few days ago, has certainly brought out more cynicism out of this mostly non-cynical human being than I thought I had. But can you blame me? Can you blame me for being a little bitter about it, being a little envious, a little jealous, a little what's it, vindictive? It's just kind of, I guess, it's to be expected, right? When you're that connected to something or someone. But yeah, then there's going to be a lull after the press conference. We're going to get all distracted. We'll be thinking about the draft, focus on the draft, and then we'll be. Then there's that really long quiet time when it's just going to be all, off-season workouts maybe, and then training camp. Training camp come up, and then we'll be kind of focused on all the new players. So we'll have that distraction. But then, once the games start, preseason, but mostly regular season, I'm going to do it again to myself. I know I'm going to be looking for Denver Broncos highlights. I'm going to want to see, as much as I don't want to see it. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll probably scoreboard peek. And if I see that the Broncos lost, I will be giddy with excitement to see what happened. Was it the defense's fault? Was it the offense's fault? Will Russ have been sacked? Will they throw some interceptions? Will the storylines that so many people were complaining about Russ here, will they carry over to Denver? Or is it going to be like a whole different dude in a whole different system? It was kind of like that comparison with, when Tom Brady left the Patriots and when that long marriage had to come to an end, and we all wondered who's going to get the better of it. Who's going to be, at least in the short term, who will be more successful after they separate? Will Belichick continue the success without Brady, or will Brady go to a new team and will he be the one who's successful? Well, the year immediately following surely played out in Brady's favor, since of course he won the Super Bowl. The year after that, though, kind of equalized a little bit because the Patriots did make the playoffs. They didn't last long, but then neither did Tom Brady and the Bucs. So, and now Brady's done and Belichick's still going. So we'll see how that all plays out going on. But now we get to see our own Russell Wilson experiment. Who will have the more successful short term immediately after separation? Will Pete Carroll and the Seahawks find some way to turn what feels like a really negative situation right now and surprise us all, especially me, which I'm thinking we're at full rebuild, which means at least a year or two of losing football? Or will they have some trick up their sleeve where they're not blowing the whole thing up, but they're actually still going to compete? And how will Russell do with his first year with the team? That's the yeah. Wouldn't that be funny, Lena? Wouldn't it, if we find the Hawks, the Seahawks and the Broncos both go to the Super Bowl? Yeah. I'm pretty sure the odds on that in Vegas are not very good. But it would be funny. It would be a hilarious thing. But we're going to preview that, of course, when we find out what date. But we know that the Broncos will be coming to town in Seattle this year. It just so happens that we play the AFC West team. So, of course, we're going to have to play all those guys, including Russell Wilson and the Broncos at home. What a homecoming that will be. The reactions could be different if it's early in the year versus later in the year. Because if it's early in the year, this will be fresh still. People will still be emotionally, just reliving the pain of what it's like not having Russell Wilson. But imagine if it's like in December. By that time, we've already gone through like 11, 12, 13, 14 games. The season pretty much will have already kind of written itself. We'll know what kind of team we got. Are we a 2-12 team? Are we a 7-7 team? Are we a 9-5 team with playoffs potentially there? And I think if we are, it kind of changes what kind of feel that game will have. If I'm the NFL schedulers, and I don't know how they figured these things out, but if I'm the NFL, and I'm pretty sure they're making that a primetime game. Why wouldn't they, right? That's going to be one of the biggest games of the year. Make a Sunday night or Monday night football game. No, actually Sunday night. Sunday night will get the most eyes on it. I believe it's prime time. So Sunday night football early in September would get the most bang for your buck for a Seahawks Russell Wilson rivalry game or remarriage game or whatever reunion game. That really would be the best for ratings, and because at that point everything's still fresh, everything's new. We don't even know yet what kind of whether our team's going to be good or not. Broncos don't know if they'll be good or not. It'll be so fresh. But down the line, if it's December, let's say the Broncos and the Seahawks both have crappy seasons and they're both like mediocre or worse, the game won't have as much value to it. So hopefully they make that game earlier just to make the drama. Might as well go all in on the drama of the return of Wilson to Lumen Field to play his old team. Might as well milk it, get it early when it's going to be at its highest value. Not looking forward. I don't know. It's weird. Not looking forward to, yet at the same time looking forward to it. Does that make sense? It's like, I'll really be looking forward to it if we win. I'll be kind of laughing, if it'd be so ironic, such an irony if Pete Carroll and the Seahawks in a rebuild are able to defeat the Broncos with their newly minted, brand new savior of the team, Russell Wilson. Wouldn't it be funny if the Seahawks actually won that game? I would definitely feel like we got the better end of the deal of it, at least short term. But so much yet to be determined. I have no idea what kind of team this is going to be, the Seahawks. Collins says, Salt Lake. I love that city. Seems it's always sunny, and when it isn't, it's snowing. It's true. Let me show you a quick snap view. It's not the best angle because there's too many buildings in the way. But see those snow-covered hills? I mean, they're everywhere. They're surrounded. The city's surrounded by it. A lot of people come here to ski. I'm here to watch volleyball. So, but it's beautiful right now. Sunny skies, a little bit of clouds. I've been here once before. We had a tournament here last year, so it's not the first time. But it was during the spring, so it was hot, shorts weather. Now it's the first time coming here when it's cold like this. It's nice though, and I do like the cold when it's sunny like this. Alexander Matthews, I heard Pete Carroll might try to get quarterback Cousins. Hell no. There's a lot of options. Obviously, there's that. There's so much talk about Deshaun Watson, and that comes with its own level of controversy. Obviously, he has to get through all this legal stuff. Today is actually a big day for that because depending on the outcome of his grand jury thing and all that, could definitely set the tone of how available and how marketable he might be. Either way, I've already seen the backlash of the fact that the Seahawks are even considering getting Deshaun Watson. A lot of people already like, if they even consider getting Deshaun Watson, I'm going to stop following this team. You know, it's the whole controversy that he had not sitting well with a lot of people. You know, it's tough because obviously, like most NFL players, sorry, it's cold, just my nose running. When you're an athlete like this, you get, obviously, before there's even a case done, you're kind of guilty before proven innocent sort of thing. And if I were in that person's shoes, I'd feel a little bit, feel like it's a little unfair that so much judgment has been placed and I even had a chance to defend myself yet. Yet at the same time, you look at the evidence and the number of people, and you obviously think, there must be a trend here. Then again, when you are a rich, well-known athlete, or any celebrity for that matter, you're also looked at as a potential money target, right? So it's kind of like, hey, throwing your accusations, you get the same thing. Who knows what really happened behind closed doors? But you know, money drives everything, right? So, but we'll see. We'll see how things play out. But from a sports standpoint, if you separate your moral judgments from your looks at what would be the best sports solution, obviously Deshaun Watson to the Seahawks would be a huge step where you would not necessarily you could feel like the transition going from Russ to him could be almost seamless, changing the entire feel of what this rebuild is, and maybe it's not even a rebuild after all. It's interesting seeing the reaction of different people from Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson being gone. It is really fascinating how many people, 100%, everybody, without doubt, hates the fact that Bobby Wagner was released and feel bad that he's not coming back. I feel bad as well. I wanted him back, but I also thought, practically speaking, financially wise, I did not think, even before this thing happened, how were they going to bring Bobby Wagner back unless they did some kind of contract restructure, because it was going to be such a big cap hit. But from the opinions of the fans, it's interesting how so many fans are. Let's keep walking while I'm doing this. My hotel's right over there. It's interesting how many fans don't feel the same way when it comes to Russell Wilson. Now, I'm not one of them, but I know there's a lot of people who already didn't like a lot of things that was going on with Russ, whether it was what he was saying counter to what happened, or that they say he's gone Hollywood. I've heard all types of takes on that. Some people just say also from a performance standpoint that they lay a lot of blame to Russell, that he wasn't the player that he was, that he look at this green car. Speaking of green, that thing's halfway to being a Seahawk vehicle right there. Put some blue trim on it, a few 12s, some patterns. A little too green. It's like action green car. I don't like action green as a full color. A little too much. Good accent, but need more blue on that one. But you know, yes, saying the sacks were more Russell Wilson's fault. He doesn't run as much. He's lost a step, so he's not as quick to escape. I was watching I posted a highlight last night, actually early this morning, Instagram of Cam Chancellor's pick 6 against Cam Newton in the 2014 divisional playoff win against the Carolina Panthers. And you know, I was watching a few plays from that game. That was a game where he did the double jump the line field goal attempt block, which was amazing in itself. But just watching much of those plays, watching Russ run, doing the read option thing, and yeah, I miss those read option data. He definitely was a step quicker back then. I mean, he still can do it. It's just interesting why he doesn't run. And one of my friends had an interesting theory that I've never heard anyone bring up, which is, seems like Russ was never the same running wise ever since Oops, lost my connection there. Sorry about that. They had some bad Wi-Fi connection or something. Anyway, I was talking about Russell Wilson after he had the ankle injury and then the knee injury, and he kept playing. They just wrapped the hell out of his ankles and somehow managed to still play at a decent level. But yeah, he said after that, it seemed like Russell never really ran the same, and it's kind of a good point. I don't know how. I'll have to look back to see, did he really stop running after 2016, or was it more the later years? But he certainly has not been running the ball as much, and why that is hard to know, because when he does do it, it still is effective. But something definitely he stopped doing from what he did so well in the first 2-3 years. So something worth looking at. But it'll be interesting to see if they do that in Denver. Will they give Russell Wilson, will they have him running more? What kind of offensive schemes are they going to give him in terms of, is he going to do the things that he didn't do here? Will he throw the checkdowns? Will he hit the tight ends in the middle? Will he not hold on to the ball too long? And if he does do it there, why the heck wouldn't he have done it here? What stopped it from happening? So much, like, even for me, there's the frustration, and I guess why I was always feeling like there was going to be that eventual return to glory, return to the Super Bowl. It's because I do think whatever things that Russ may have had as issues playing were fixable. It wasn't one of those things where you go, oh man, Russ is he's no good. He's washed up. He doesn't have the skills anymore. He can still do all the same things he did before, maybe a little bit slower. Maybe he doesn't spin out of his, can't escape quite as quickly anymore like he used to. But that could also be that the league just figured him out, learned about his antics, and knew how to kind of keep him contained. But I always thought that he could still come back for that and find a way to clean things up. I always thought that, getting those new coordinators were going to help do that. But obviously we never will get that chance. And I think that's why I don't want it to work in Denver, because I wanted it to work here. I thought we could make it work here. We were denied that opportunity. So if I see it happen in Denver, it'll feel like that was what I wanted to happen here, but now it's happening with another team. And just to add to that, if I want to go, longer, deeper, old school, Denver was a long, heated rival back when I was a kid, back when the Seahawks were in the AFC West for a long, long time, from like 78, was it 77, all the way to 2001. That was how long they were in the AFC West. The Broncos were a long time, pain in the butt rival, along with the Oakland Raiders, San Diego Chargers, and the Kansas City Chiefs, before they switched to the NFC West in 2002. So is that a longer time in this franchise history? Because, 20 years in this division, we were definitely in there longer in the AFC West by just a few, 77 to 2001, 24 years. Anyway, but hard memories, because most of the time we were on the losing end of those games, losing to the Chiefs and Arrowhead, the Broncos. We seem to have a way of beating the Raiders every once in a while, especially on Monday night. But anyway, so we'll see. I see a lot of people. So I commented just a minute ago about we should get, what's his name? Willis. What's this? Yeah. Get Malik Willis in the draft. I know I've seen the highlights too. I'm throwing them 60-yard bombs down the field. But there you go. There's our solution. A guy in shorts and tank top with no pressure can hit a guy 60 yards down the field. I guarantee you, pretty much every NFL quarterback can make that throw with shorts and a tank top and no pressure and no defender on the receiver. So it's going to be more. It's going to take more than that to take that next level. But Who knows? Maybe the Seahawks see something in him that they think could be the replacement, but we shall find out. But yeah, you're right. The Mariners baseball season is back. Finally reached an agreement, I guess. So the official start of the season will be April 7th. That's my hotel, by the way. Homewood Suites. And he ran a 4.48 in his sophomore year. Pretty impressive. So, Talker 610. Do we draft a QB next month, do you think? I think it's too early to tell right now because while I think they're going to go into full rebuild, the Bobby Wagner release does not necessarily by itself indicate that they are. Theoretically, if they make moves that keeps Tyler Lockett here, that keeps Quandre Diggs or brings Quandre Diggs here and brings Rashad Penny back here, then I think they're not blowing it up. If they really are doing that move, that means they're not blowing this thing up. But if all those guys are gone and they don't really make a push to keep any of their talent or re-sign their higher end talent, then you'll know it's a rebuild. And then I don't know if it's worth going all in on a quarterback at 9. Then I think you rebuild from the draft as well and just have a carryover quarterback with either Drew Lock for now or some other guy, knowing that you're not really trying to go all in on a championship and you're just starting to try to build up everything else and get all solid pieces going back to like 2010, 2011, where you started drafting. We drafted Earl Thomas. We drafted a Russell Okung in that same year in 2010. Then we got, guys like Cam Chancellor and, Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, all those guys. They were all found in the years that followed. Hey, squirrel. What's up, squirrely? Where you going? All right. So, and of course, offensive line too. So if you're gonna not go for it, then it makes no sense to try to go for a best of this draft quarterback and waste one of your early draft picks on that when it may not. The best of this draft might not even close to the the level that might be available next year. So again, it all depends on what their big picture is. I don't know what it is, but we'll know because free agency will tell us. You're either buying or you're selling. Last year the Rams were buying. Seattle was more or less buying, but this year we're already starting to sell. So it all depends on how they start playing out the next couple of weeks, and we'll have a really good idea. If Seattle doesn't sign anybody, then we're definitely in a rebuild mode. Watson, same thing. I think that's an interesting one, right? First, they decide if they decide that Watson's going to be free and clear of his issues, and they want to get him. The thing is, it's going to take. You can't just get him, right? It's not like you just say, "Hey, Deshaun, come on, play for us," and he just shows up on the roster. We're going to have to give up a ton as well to bring him here, which might negate or offset a lot of what we gained by getting trading Russ. So, and there you go, dangerous sports cards. Hard pass on Watson. I mean, there's a lot of people who feel the same way. So if you even feel like going down that road, you got to decide what's it worth. And if you do that, you are essentially sabotaging your rebuild plans if you give up a bunch to get Deshaun Watson. So then you're kind of back to where you were before you traded Russ. You know what I mean? So again, that's why the trade thing is so frustrating because I feel like the most realistic thing for the Seahawks to do is to go full rebuild, try to find the best quarterback they can in the draft, really target him. We're talking not this year, but next year, and get the best quarterback that's going to be available. Expect to do bad this year, maintaining a high draft status so that they'll get another high first round pick by sucking this year. And then going in and really getting that long-term solution. And in the meantime, building up this year's draft with these draft picks that we're getting, next year's, and doing like what we did in 2010, 2011. I hate to say that because I hate the idea of stinking, like consciously deciding to make moves that's going to make your team suck for a year or two. But I feel like if we're looking for the long term and not just trying to band-aid this thing over and kind of keep it afloat, then I feel like that's what we have to do. Bryce ain't better than Willis. I mean, there's a lot of debate about. There's only I feel like there's like 3 quarterback names are thrown around as good ones this year, and then on top of that, we're not the only team looking for a quarterback. Indy's got to get a quarterback. They just traded Carson Wentz. The Carson Wentz project is over. Poor Carson Wentz, man. That dude, he's just been plagued with. If it's not injuries, then it's just unfortunately bad timed play. The Colts losing to Jacksonville and blowing their chance to make the playoffs last year was kind of a death sentence for him last year. Yeah, Matt Corral, that's the other guy. See, so all these names, the only reason these names are percolating up is because they're the best they have to offer in this draft, but they're not the best quarterbacks, I think, if you were just to lay them all out between this year, next year, and the year after that, and you were probably to lay out what the potential of all these quarterbacks would be, they wouldn't be near the top. Dukes of Hazzard, who's buying a Broncos Wilson jersey? Screw that. Not me. No thanks. Seahawks first, baby. People are speculating about Bobby Wagner. He could go to the 49ers. He could go to the Cowboys. Imagine if we get Jimmy Garoppolo. So it sounds like what a lot of people think, speculating, is that Tom Brady will come out of retirement and play for the 49ers because of his history there and all that kind of stuff, growing up in that area. Boy, wouldn't that put a nice little wrinkle to the NFC West? All the more reason to just stink this year. Because it's going to be hard to beat the Rams. It's going to be hard to beat the 49ers, especially if that happens. And Cardinals, well, we don't know what those guys are about. Taker 610. How would Hawks Nation take a Jimmy G acquisition? No thanks. I didn't think he was that good all the times he's been with 49ers, and he's blown it in crucial game situations where he had a chance to win it. He's not your guy. Might as well run with Drew Lock if you're going to do that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting, though. Like I said, the next 2 weeks, as we enter free agency, will tell you a lot of what the Seahawks plan to do. And so by the end of March, I think we'll know if this team's in full rebuild mode or if they're like, maybe they are still trying to compete, realistically compete. But it's going to be a tough one. All right. Appreciate you guys joining. Had a nice time with you guys. More videos to come from Salt Lake City. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great weekend. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Laters. Bye. Go Hawks.